Om Maha Ganapataye Namaha. In this video, I'm going to share a very practical problem solution technology, which is a matter of self-inquiry that is focused on a particular area that you want to be looking for. Now, let me give you an example of what I'm talking about here. If you're having a problem, in general, in order to be able to fix or solve anything, you have to be able to understand how it works. You have to be able to understand it in general. So if you want to be able to fix a bicycle, say you're riding a bicycle and you don't know why, but somehow the bike stops working and you don't know, just the pedals are moving by itself. And if you understand, okay, this chain drives the gear, and when I push the pedals, the little rotor moves the chain, and that makes the wheel to move. And therefore, if I see that chain off or whatever, I know how to fix this particular problem because I understand how it works. I understand what's going on. Similarly, if you understand the habits that may or may not be leading to unhealthy decisions, or let me give you an example. So I was coaching a woman the other day, and she was feeling he had a problem where she couldn't enjoy her moment. So whether she was having leisure time, whether she was spending time with her family, she always felt this internal pressure that you should be doing something that's profitable. Like if she had to read a book, it had to be something that could lead her to make more money. If she was spending time with her family, it was as if you could be using this time to earn more money and get more security. And the part of the session was trying to dive into the cause and understanding why she felt the pressure. So on the surface level, it appears, well, I feel the pressure because I want to make more money. Okay, that's true. But what is the reason? What is the deeper meaning behind that? Because if we can get down to that, then we can understand how to really fix this problem. And what you'll find is, and I've seen this also, observe this, whenever you're able to get clarity about something and really get to that clarity, it unravels that knot. The knot is the problem here. When you get the clarity, the knot just starts to naturally fall apart. And we've tied this knot, and we're looking at it, we don't really understand it. But if you understand how the knot is woven together, and you understand what piece to pull on, the knot will just naturally unfold. So in the case of this woman, what was going on was she experienced some trauma in her childhood. That wasn't like a major trauma, but it wasn't something that was totally obvious to her when she was trying to figure out how to solve this problem. That she got burned by, it was her friends or family, or maybe a combination of both, where she lost her trust, where before she was very trusting. And then somehow she got burned to such a point where she could no longer trust. She never ever wanted to depend on anybody else to provide anything for her. She wanted to be able to one to do it because she didn't want to have to trust anybody anymore. And so as a compensation for this lack of trust or her unwillingness to put herself out there anymore, she basically built this momentum of pressure that to the point where it culminated to the point where she can never even rest because she was so driven by this pressure that she couldn't enjoy her life anymore. Now, this can be applied to a variety of different problems, and it's very important to think about this. They call it a self-inquiry. Reflecting on a problem and why it's there. And once you're able to do that, like I said, the knot will unfold. For example, health, eating. On a surface level, if you're eating a problem, maybe you're overweight, or maybe there's other problems you're facing because of your diet. You could say, well, no, it's just because I've made some bad choices. I can make better choices with my eating, and I just tend to make worse choices. I like pizza too much, or I like ice cream too much, and it's something that's okay. That's true too. But what's the deeper meaning? What is driving you for that? What is the cause that is giving you the pressure that keeps going back to this? And maybe it's because you're not feeling fulfilled. Maybe it's because there's a certain level of misery that you're experiencing in life, and you're using the food to compensate, which is something that we in the Western society do with everything. Because food is a drug, just like coffee is a drug, just like a great exercise is a drug, or chit-chatting with someone, a friend, or sex, or shopping. Not that these things are bad; they are not bad at all. But it's important if they become something that is a burden, or they are starting to cause problems. And in general, it's important, it's very useful to understand why you're driven to these things. So that when you're having these thoughts, these impulses, you can understand what is, and just by the mere fact of you understanding what is going on, it changes the perspective completely. Instead of you saying, oh, Ice cream, I want that, and I'll go have the ice cream. You could say, oh, I know why I want the ice cream. It's because I'm not feeling fulfilled. Maybe what will make me fulfilled? What would give me some fulfillment that I'm not dependent on the ice cream? I'm not dependent on the gym. I'm not dependent on the food. I'm not dependent on the coffee, the cigarettes, the sex. I'm not dependent on these things to give me that. How can I have that fulfillment? So the ice cream or the gym or whatever is just enhances it a little more. It just contributes as an expression of me. It doesn't necessarily, I'm not relying upon it, but it does, it gives me, it enhances the experience. So think about these things, and if you're having a problem, whatever it may be, if you are struggling, here's one, if you're struggling to get results with mantra, if you're struggling to get results with manifestation, and you understand, okay, I have all these tools at my disposal, that's one thing. I have all this information at my disposal on how to fix this problem. What has stopped me? What is stopping me from getting results? Is it because I'm not putting my full effort into it? Maybe is there a part of me that's trying to sabotage this because maybe my mindset's so negative that although I'm feigning to put out efforts, I'm not actually subconsciously sincere about it, and I'm looking for reasons to. So if it's okay if I sleep in and I don't do my morning practice, or I'm gonna do this, but it's just like I don't really believe in it. It's like if it works, fine. If it doesn't work, it's I don't expect it to work anyways. There are deeper reasons. So yes, we have our astrology, and I would say, don't get so comfortable with this. A lot of people I see say, no, it's my astrology. I know I have this planets over here. I have this in my chart, or I have this. Or if some people say, no, it's because my parents. It's my genetics. No, it's this. It's that. This is an escapism. You understand this is an escapism. One great analogy to explain how this works, whether it's your astrology, genetics, all this, or karma, this all the same thing, in fact, is these are like loaded guns. We have a lot of tendencies, but it's our choice to go through and pull a trigger. Now what happens is, because of our karma, because of our astrology, because of our genetics, or whatever name you want to put on it, we are more inclined to, here it is, if you're on a raft and you're floating down the river, you'll complain the whole way down the river because you're naturally floating the river. It's your natural tendency to float in that direction. See, so it requires you to go way against the grain, to jump out of the raft and get out of that river so you can float in a different place. But we have a tendency to just go along with the flow. And that flow is a certain destiny. What does destiny mean? Is it some fantasized foo-foo thing? No, what does destiny mean? Destiny precisely means you are on a path that leads to a particular destination. That's all that it means. A destiny means a destination has been established, and you are simply going through the motions that lead you to that destiny. By understanding your genetic information, everyone has a destiny. It's pure logic. Once this genetic information culminates through a life cycle, it's going to naturally produce a certain destination. That destination is already established by all the genetic information. That if you pull the triggers on all that information, you will naturally arrive logically at one destination. And that, for most people, is death. You're dying. You're going to have a certain disease. You're going to have certain problems with speech, or your hair is going to fall, or whatever. This is a destination. Now, you're going to die, or you're going to be miserable because part of you can't relate to other people, or you have certain habits. Maybe you have an addiction problem in the family. And part of this addiction problem is, well, it's negative forces. If you want to be, there's different ways of looking at it. So the negative forces carry out the addiction. They're the ones who come in and give you the addiction. It's represented, reflected on a practical level as your genetics, as a certain tendency of a neurochemistry or a neurology. Or so whatever the problems are, it's important to be aware of what is triggering, because what you have here is these loaded guns are pulled by the trigger of your mind. Your mindset is pulling the triggers. For example, if your family has cancer or something like this, where you have this, and you say, and part of you believes you're going to have cancer too. you're going to manifest that cancer because it's already natural. It's already, the gun is already loaded there, and if you believe in that cancer, you're going to manifest that cancer. If you go and believe something else, you can change it, but that something else is going to not be natural to you. So if you have certain problems, go and try to find out the root, because once you find the root, you can pull the root out. Your awareness alone will untie the knot. So just give it a try and experiment with self-inquiry and trying to find out what is going on, because there is a reason. And why I'm making this video is because until this coaching session, while I have experienced this in the past and while I had awareness of it, it took this coaching session for me to really see it and observe it in a very crystallized form. That most of the time, if we don't have these concepts, because concepts are everything, we will spend our time on the analyzing on the surface level, and we'll never get to the root of the problem. And it's so important to get to the root, because once you get to the root, you will see very, very fast changes. If you go to a doctor and you have a problem, and if they can't give you a proper diagnosis, you'll have to keep going back and taking different medicines and trying different therapies, right? But if they can diagnose precisely, this is exactly what it is. This medicine or this therapy or this treatment is the exact remedy to that particular problem. Then finish. You will get the result you want. So you can use astrology. I do highly recommend astrology, because astrology is a blueprint of the most subtle. If a well-trained astrologer can take a look at your chart and find out exactly what is going on and exact remedy that will be able to fix it. Astrology is nothing but the science of time. It's a science of karma. It's the information and its unique permutation combination that you have that makes you you. And by going in there, it's almost like a software code. If you have a virus and you can go and find out that piece of code that's corrupt, you can go and pull that piece of code, you can remedy that situation. That's exactly what astrology is. It is looking at the software that you have been born with and figuring out how to counteract the problems and how to enhance the things that you do like. So I do recommend astrology. If you're looking to have a reading, I don't do readings. I would recommend astrobed.com. They do fantastic readings over there. One woman, Vijaya Lakshmi, I would recommend as well. She's the senior astrologer at Astrobed. A lot of experience. Check her out. But in general, look into the self-inquiry and try to understand what is happening with the intention of, with the awareness of, the better that I understand what's going on, the better it is that I'll be able to fix it. So I hope this video helps and give you some concepts that will improve and benefit you dramatically and ultimately transform your life. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please leave a comment underneath this video. As always, if you'd like to be notified for future videos, click subscribe and the bell notification. God bless.